Alright guys, welcome back. So a trim sheet is basically a sheet of details that you can use to populate the surface detail, and uh, that sheet can contain all different sizes, different areas that have different details, and you can grab those and start match them with the UV of the geometry, and you got that detail populated on the surface of the UV. And if we can really carefully specify the sizes of different part of the sheet, we can use that in a very efficient and repeated way to just use one texture and populate a lot of details on multiple pieces. Okay, now one trim sheet I want to create is a trim sheet that helps me to do like bevels for the edge. Okay, because the edge is really like harsh here. Now that's gonna look 3D model like rather than a actual piece, because actual piece does have rounded edge. We could bevel this guy, right? And that could work, but that introduces more model and complexity in the baking, even collisions here. So an easier way would be like we can create a sheet of multiple beveling setups that we can use the UV to match them, and then we got bevel automatically if we match the UV properly to the UV trim sheet, to the bevel trim sheet. Okay, cool. So here I'm gonna add our model for now. Okay, I'm gonna start create a little plane here and make it also 512. Okay, now I want to think about the structure of the trim sheet, like what kind of a trim do I want it to have. I want to first of all though change the subdivision to the same amount I'm having, so it's gonna be 32 I'm having as the grade. Okay, and then I can start trying to figure out like, oh, actually I don't need that. Let me go to actually 0. Okay, I can cut it in whatever way I want actually. I can go to the edge mode, grab that edge. If it's easier, I can also bring this guy up so that we don't have to see the grid. Grab this edge, holding down Control and right mouse button, edge ring utilities to edge ring and split to split it into top and bottom. Do that here again. And then I have this little square. Maybe that's one of the trim I want to have, like just a square shape. And here, maybe I kind of wanted to cut into 2 different pieces. Okay. And for this guy, maybe I wanted to cut it more. Okay. While I'm doing that, I can delete the faces I don't really want it to have. So I have like one trim like this, another trim like this, another like this, another like that. And maybe here I can start adding some cuts also. Okay, and I kind of wanted to have like long pieces like this. Okay, now maybe I can, on the very top, I can actually cut it into half, and even smaller pieces over here for smaller details. Okay, so that's basically some of the possible setup you can go for. I don't think it's only limited to that. We could do more, and we could have multiple versions of this trim sheet if this is not enough. Okay, so when we're happy with that, we could then just go to the edge mode, grab all the edges. We can then do a detach component. That way they're just different pieces now, or actually we have to also do a separate to do that. Okay, so then let me go to vertex mode and delete those vertices on the edge that we don't really need. I think this is fun. This one had one over there, and these guys are okay. This guy has a lot of points there. So we just have all those different smaller sheets, right? Smaller modules. Okay, let me turn on the edge. All right, now after that, I need to go ahead and create cubes out of those guys. Okay, so let me grab all of those and extrude, and then I can go up. Okay, it doesn't matter how far I go, just need to go up a little bit. All right, cool. Now I have these, right? And then I'm gonna Control D to duplicate this P-plan group. Okay, so I have a copy of that. And for these guys, I'm gonna go to component mode and grab all the edges. Actually, I want to go to edge mode here. Grab all the edges. Okay, let me also hide that one. Okay, all right. So again, go to component mode, grab all the edges. For this new guy we duplicated, I want to do a bevel to bevel it. Okay, now that's the trim I'm talking about. Oops, they're not beveling together. Let me try that again. Bevel edge. It's only doing one of them. That's interesting. I'm gonna grab all of these guys. That's doing that last one. Okay, let me just grab them one more time. And I'm gonna go to object mode, right? Go to the bevel here. I should be able to change them here altogether. Okay, cool. So just go a little bit lower maybe. That's basically how big you want your bevel to be. Okay, and you can change the segment to have more segment down the way in the middle. Okay, and when you're happy with that, you go grab the models again, go to component mode. Grab all the edges, you soften them so that you have the soft edge. Oops. Alright, so now we have the trimmed kind of like effect, right? The bevels. Cool. So all we have to do is bake the normal for these guys. But one thing we need to do though is that we do need to bake that on all those guys, all those boxes we have. But I want to have a sheet out of it. So that means I have to arrange the UV in a clever way. So I'm gonna go to the UV editor. Okay, you can see the UV is kind of okay. All I have to do is, and all I'm care about is basically the top faces. So let me grab all these guys and go to component mode, grab the faces, right? And these gonna be the ones I really care about, and the others I can hold down Shift and reverse selection. Just go Shift and right mouse button, create UV shell, and just drag them away. And don't really care what's going on with them. Just move them there. Okay. Alright, that should be the UV layout. Just that. Okay. Alright, cool. Now I have all these guys. I'm gonna grab those and combine them together. And these guys for the high resolution, right? Combine them together. Cool. So I have two set of meshes. Delete the history. Alright, and then we just need to export those guys to a external program to bake our normal map. So let's go ahead and export, and it's the lowest one. I'm gonna call this guy bevel trim sheet low, and the other guy, okay, and it's gonna be bevel trim sheet high. All right, so that's the basic starting point we can do for the trim sheet. Oh, there's actually one more thing I want to do. Sorry about that. I should actually do this. Let me grab all these guys and separate. Okay, because when I bake them now, I could get artifacts because they are really close. So I'm gonna just drag them away, you know, from each other, like further away. That way, when I'm doing my baking, I got really clean like result. I don't really care if they are the same position or not. The baking doesn't care. The baking only cares if I want to get a proper like sheet. The baking only cares about the UV, right? So as long as my UV is here, it's gonna bake into this UV space, right? So that's why we can actually separate those guys. Now when I'm done, I'm gonna combine them together, right? Again, and then I'm gonna export those guys for my trim sheet baking. So this one is the low res. This one is actually the high res. Okay. So file, export selection, save that as the high, and this guy is gonna be the low. Alright, cool. So let's move on to the next video, and then we can see how we bake the trim sheet. Okay, see you next.